Welcome to the Therapy Diaries. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce our esteemed speaker, Ekta Dharia, a highly accomplished clinical psychologist with over 14 years of dedicated service in the field of mental health. Ekta brings to her practice an impressive blend of academic excellence and specialized training. She holds a master's degree in clinical psychology and a diploma in counseling. Her commitment to professional growth is evident in her diverse range of certification, making her a truly multifaceted practitioner. What sets Ekta apart is her integrative approach to mental health. She skillfully combines cognitive behavioral therapies with various psychotherapeutic techniques, creating a unique therapeutic experience tailored to each individual's needs, aspiration, goals, and temperament. Today, we are fortunate to have Ekta join us to share her wealth of knowledge and experience on pregnancy, hormones, and postpartum. Her unique blend of expertise, compassionate approach, and commitment to holistic well-being promises to offer valuable insights into understanding and addressing mental health challenges. She practices at a clinic called Mindside Clinic in Malad. Please join me in welcoming Ekta Dharia.
Thank you for welcoming me here. It will be indeed my pleasure to be part of Therapy Diaries. So, my name is Ekta, as you introduced, and I'm a clinical psychologist with 14 years of experience. My expertise is therapy and psychometric assessments.
So today we're going to focus on pregnancy, hormones, and postpartum, as that's something you specialize in. And I think it's a very important phase of a woman's life. So your insights will be valuable in understanding the emotional challenges women face, during this transformative period of their lives. Tell us, how do hormonal changes during pregnancy affect a woman's emotional state, and what are some of the common misconceptions about these changes?
So, hormones play a very crucial role. There are a lot of hormones in the body, like dopamine, serotonin, which play a different role in during the pregnancy, and due to which there are overwhelming emotions which women go. It may lead into mood swing, it may lead into anxiety, it may lead into overthinking tendency. So obviously hormones play an important role through the pregnancy. And the misconception what the people generally have it is that hormone doesn't have any impact on pregnancy, but that's not true. Hormone play a very crucial role during and throughout the pregnancy and post pregnancy as well.
So I think a lot of people, have this theory, you're pregnant, you should be happy, whatever emotions you have, you pass on to the child, however you're feeling, the child is going to feel. Although that's absolutely okay, but is it natural for a woman to stay happy for 9 months? I'm sure, like you said, serotonin and dopamine affect the emotional state. So how does one maintain that?
So yes, generally there are a lot of expectation people have from the woman throughout the pregnancy, and woman herself wants to self-impose that I should be happy, I should be like joyful, but many times due to unwanted expectation from the self, this chemical get imbalanced in the body, and you can't be happy all throughout the 9 months. There can be some stress factors also. So it is very important to take care of your mental well-being as well as emotional well-being through certain activities or support system which help you in a better way to regulate your emotions in much better way.
Can you describe the roller coaster of emotions that women face or experience during this beautiful phase of pregnancy and early motherhood?
So motherhood is beautiful journey, I indeed agree, but a roller coaster itself is high and low points in your life. So when I talk about it, the woman has lot of concerns when she's pregnant. There's a small baby inside, there is a identity crisis, there is a lot of expectation from the society. So basically I feel in this journey there is emotional turmoil the women undergo, and there are high chances the emotions like anxiety, joy, even the sadness or the mood swings are there part of their journey. And there are high times where they are very happy, they are enjoying that pregnancy, and there are low times where they are very sad, they just want to be with themselves, they need their own space. So I feel it's a high and the low phase during the pregnancy which women undergo.
So do you have any children?
Yeah, I have a 8-year daughter.
Can you tell us a little bit about your pregnancy journey? Was it a roller coaster of emotions for you?
Yes, so basically if I talk about my journey, before my this daughter, I had a miscarriage. So I had a miscarriage. So I was a little skeptical about my second pregnancy. I was very cautious about my pregnancy. During first 3 months, that is first trimester, if we talk about, I had to take a bed rest. So obviously it was emotional turmoil for me as well. because a lot of things were there, how I handle this child, probably the parenting skills, or whether will I have a miscarriage again. So obviously there were a lot of mood swings as well, and plus I was a working professional and suddenly have to be behind the doors for a few months. That journey was really challenging for me.
So, can you tell our listeners some of the basic strategies as a psychologist to deal with these fluctuations?
Okay, so my main thing is that you should have a good support system during your pregnancy, whether they are your parents or your in-laws or maybe your husband, who can help you to understand what you are going through. Secondly, there are a lot of support groups, so you can go and understand from them. Okay, even your journey is very similar to the other mothers or the pregnant women who are. So you are not only the one. Thirdly, even you can start pursuing some hobbies or whatever you're passionate about. Even journaling will help you. So if you're not able to vent out your emotion, there are some women who are not able to express their emotion. So you can journal it, you can pen it down what you feel, how you're feeling. You can have your own scrapbook like throughout the journey, like from first trimester to third trimester. Okay, how was overall your journey about pregnancy? And most important, it's having yoga, meditation, or attending any prenatal classes, which will help you to understand how to cope up with your emotion, and it will help you to understand how to regulate this emotion in the right way.
So, do you think in this kind of phase, it would be a great opportunity to start counseling or therapy? And I don't mean it in the sense that you're facing a problem or pregnancy is an issue, but if you just have someone who can hear you out, kind of help you figure out your emotions. Did you ever seek counseling while you were pregnant?
Yes. So there are a lot of women who basically come for the prenatal counseling with the spouse to understand their journey, how they can cope up for parenting skill, how they can be a good parent, and most important, even understanding the emotion, because they are not able to understand what is happening with themselves. Suddenly they are happy, suddenly they are sad. There is a lot of anxiety, panic attacks. If it is not taken in the right way, it lead into panic attack and into anxiety also. So it is very important to seek therapy if you see some red flags. Okay, I'm not really doing well in this pregnancy, or maybe there is something which I'm not able to express. I need someone who can understand me in a better way.
Because I think it's very common for women to feel alone.
Yes.
I have seen a very common thing amongst women that they feel alone in their pregnancy. Did you feel alone as well?
In my case, basically, I have a joint family, so that was not my case. But yes, a lot of women live in the nuclear family, have a lot of time struggling with loneliness, because most of the time husband goes to office, she's all alone in the house. She doesn't know how to regulate the time or regulate her emotion or talk to someone. So yes, I feel at times the women feel they are lonely in their journey of pregnancy if they don't have a right support system.
So, what are some of the common fears and anxieties that women face during pregnancy?
Most of the women comes to me basically to understand how will be the childbirth, whether they will have a C-section or the normal delivery. So that leads into anxiety, because there are a lot of misconceptions regards to C-section. So that lead into stress and anxiety. Even they have a lot of question regarding how their parenting skills will be, a lot of expectation to be a perfect mom. So again, that is there, okay, how I will raise my child. If I am in a joint family, they have a good support system. If I'm a working, how can I start my journey? How I can take a long break, or how much duration a child need? So there are a lot of ifs and buts they want to understand. So I have to make them understand that you have to take your own time, because every women have a different journey. Everyone's coping skill is very different throughout the pregnancy and the motherhood. So as you go with the flow, you'll get better understanding how to deal with the child or how to handle a child in a right way.
Okay, so do you believe in this term, or do you think women believe in this term called perfect mother? Does it exist?
Yes, basically it is self-enforced, where you are like having a lot of high expectation from your own self. Okay, I want to do like this, or maybe you're comparing yourself with someone in the surrounding. You have seen, okay, this is right parenting, this is wrong parenting. So it can be something which has come within you, or maybe the society pressure, or maybe nowadays social media, where there are a lot of videos going which tell you, okay, this is the right way of parenting, or this is the right way of childbirth.
So this is a phenomena for sure. It exists. Now I think obviously there's nothing called perfect. There is no perfect sister, there's no perfect brother, there's no perfect parents, hence there's no perfect mother. I think everyone is the best version of themselves. But saying that, because like you said, social media, society or family pressures brings this term called perfect mother into limelight. How do you think it impacts the mental health of pregnant women?
Perfect mother term, I feel it's either self-imposed or either from the society, and you want to do best for your child, or maybe you compare yourself with how other are raising their child, or maybe you feel, okay, if this is what that parent is doing, I will not do for my child. But look, the journey will be very different for your child. Every mother has been unique. I have seen their journey vary from person to person, and especially how you cope up with things, how you cope up with your emotion. It is very important to connect with your child during pregnancy also, and if you're not able to, it leads into prenatal anxiety or depression, because you're overthinking constantly about something to be perfect, which is not possible. Everybody's definition of being perfect is different.
Correct, as none of us are perfect.
Correct.
So, do you think this concept is more society based, or do you think it is more self inflicted? Because, nowadays there is so much information on social media. Pregnant women should be doing yoga, pregnant women should be eating this. Everybody is making videos and posting it online, whether it's professionals or even people who are just mothers. Somebody has 3 kids, is ready to give knowledge to the world that this is how you should be, this is how your pregnancy journey is. But end of the day, every person who's pregnant might be coming from a different background, genetics,
Correct.
family scenario, different type of a husband. I don't know if the support is there or not, maybe working or not working. So I think all those factors really affect your pregnancy more than what is being shown by society. Now, what do you suggest to women or listeners who are influenced by what is out there in the media?
Whatever is available on the social media is not always true. There are a lot of things which are just copy pasted, but as I mentioned, every journey is different, every journey is very beautiful.
So let's say even you had 2 pregnancy journeys, both your pregnancy journeys must have been very different. I've heard of women who have a lot of nausea first time, don't have a second time. First time they were out and about, second time they had bed rest. So, like each pregnancy can be different. How can 2 women be the same or their journeys be the same?
Correct. Everyone going through this journey is not able to understand okay, every motherhood journey is different. My pregnancy might be different than the woman who is showing something else on social media, but there is subconscious comparisons comes up. Okay,
Correct.
this is what she is doing, so even I should do it. But you can't compare yourself. You have to either consult a doctor to understand how should be your journey, or probably to understand what are my needs, my wants, how I can connect with my child. Everyone's family dynamic, the support of the husband. If you're working, you have to manage your time, you have to manage your personal and professional life as well.
Absolutely.
So there are a lot of ifs and buts throughout the pregnancy. So once women know how to cater the whole journey, it's help them to sail through better way, and it will have a positive impact on their mental health and emotional well-being also. But if they start comparing it somewhere, obviously it will have somewhere a negative impact on your mental health and on your emotional health, where you'll be not really satisfied what you're doing throughout the pregnancy.
How does the experience of pregnancy and early motherhood differ for women with pre-existing mental health condition?
Whenever I visit a ward, I have seen there are women who doesn't have any pre-existing mental health condition, and there are women who have it. So obviously their journey will differ.
What are the most common mental health conditions you have seen pre-pregnancy that women have?
They basically have depression, anxiety, bipolar or personality disorder, and they are undergoing the treatment. And if they get pregnant during that phase, it becomes very difficult for them to understand how to cater their emotion in a right way, or that emotional turmoil of the mood swing, because already there is a chemical imbalance in the body due to mental health condition, and plus this changes in the body which is aggravating the problem.
You're saying, let's say you're somebody with no mental health condition versus somebody with a bipolar disorder. What is the difference in the pregnancy experience?
So if I talk about my journey without any mental health condition, was very pleasant. Like I was able to understand what I'm going through, how my emotions are, how to regulate my emotion, because they were high and low as well, but I was able to manage.
It was mostly a happy
A
pregnancy.
happy phase. Most of the time it was happy phase, but at times there were mood swings, which is manageable. Women who have mental health condition like bipolar or depression, already there is a chemical imbalance in the body, and we have to put on medication and therapy throughout the journey, which help them to regulate their emotions and chemical in a better way. So they understand that happy phase, that extreme of things should not affect them as well as the child who is inside the womb.
Can you give us an example of a client you've had?
I had a client who was coming to me for a bipolar treatment, and we were under the therapy. And after some period of time, a few sessions later, I just got to know that she is expecting. So she was very overwhelmed with her own emotion. She was not ready for the pregnancy, first of all, because she was under the treatment. So she was not understanding how to understand this journey, how to take it. Should she abort the child, or should she take that thing in a positive way and go ahead with the journey? Because she herself was self-doubting. and due to which it was affecting her confidence level also. So we did a lot of cognitive distortion with her to make her understand कि okay, what are irrational thoughts, what are rational thoughts, how she can help to understand these emotions, and how she can be a good mother if she is able to understand her emotion in a better way. So yes, they need little extra support and help, and with help of therapy and medication, I think they can cope up pretty well.
So there's a very common phenomena, I think, which women don't speak about. Families are ashamed of. A lot of couples are ashamed of. They don't speak about it openly, and I don't know why. And since this is a platform that we want to share information that people are scared to share, I would like to talk about loss of pregnancy. So I think losing a baby is a very, very disturbing phase for any expectant mother. So since this platform we have started is to discuss difficult topics, and I think one of the most difficult topics in a woman's pregnancy journey can be the fear of losing a child. Pregnancy loss and infertility. There are two things I feel people are very scared to talk about. Couples don't discuss it openly. Families are very hush-hush about it. It is something I want you to throw a little bit of light on. So how do you think loss of pregnancy or infertility affects a couple?
Infertility is basically not only women but even men's are affected by it, and most of the time this topic is not talked about, and either they are not ready to understand how to go ahead if one of the person is affected by this. Many times it is seen that the women are blamed for not conceiving a child, but people are not understanding it's not only women but even the men's contribute equally to the pregnancy part. But at times I've seen it affects male ego also, and they are not ready to talk or they are not ready to undergo the treatment. So women are ashamed to talk or about this to either the family or to the doctor as well, कि my husband or my spouse is not ready for this, or maybe one person is affected, so how to go about it.
You're right. I think women tend to take it upon themselves that they are entirely responsible for pregnancies, but it takes two to tango, and men are equally important in that equation. Whereas as far as infertility is concerned, when men are infertile, I think the wife, the spouse is unable to talk about it, the family doesn't accept it, society doesn't accept it at all. But yet tell me, why is there so many posters, advertisements, online presence of medication for fixing male reproductive journey if it didn't exist? Of course it exists, right?
It exists.
So do men seek help?
Yes, I have seen the frequency is less because the acceptance is not there yet. Men are always perfect, and they don't have any problem.
So they always think the lacking partner is the woman.
Yeah, lacking partner is women. Even for the journey, they expect women to take medical support and go and visit a gynac to understand where things are wrong.
Do you think they wrongly advise the family also, or kind of, when families say, why are you guys not having a child, do you think mostly the men turn around and say it's the woman who's not conceiving, could be him?
Yes, it could be. Many times I have seen that blame is always on the woman, and especially is due to male ego also कि मुझे कोई तकलीफ नहीं है करके आई एम फाइन, आई थिंक उसमें ही प्रॉब्लम है करके मैं तो अपना बेस्ट ट्राई कर रहा हूँ. कहाँ पे इफ़ दे आर नॉट एबल टू टॉक इन अ राइट वे, तो एक प्रोफेशनल हेल्प जैसे कोई साइकोलॉजिस्ट को मिलके ओपनली इफ दे कैन टॉक टू अंडरस्टैंड कि हाउ टू पुट फॉरवर्ड और हाउ टू गो अहेड. फैमिली काउंसलिंग करे, अंडरस्टैंड करे कि देयर आर लॉट ऑफ कपल जो हमारे पास आते हैं प्री काउंसलिंग, प्री प्रेगनेंसी काउंसलिंग के इफ़ वी आर प्लानिंग अ बेबी, हाउ टू गो अहेड, हाउ शुड बी आवर जर्नी इमोशनली, साइकोलॉजिकली, सोशली एंड फाइनेंशियली एज वेल, बिकॉज ये चारों का इम्पैक्ट मेंटल हेल्थ पे होता ही है, विच इज कॉमनली सीन. So family counseling will help them to understand their journey in a better way, and वो blame game भी नहीं होगा कि नहीं either she or he is not able to conceive, so they will get more clarity how to go ahead in the pregnancy journey.
And also it, in a relationship, two people are committed. So what if one is lacking? The other, if they take counseling, would be able to cover up for it in many ways.
Yes.
So in today's day and age, where our food is so impure, We live in a society where we are living very fast-paced life. We have so much to consume online and offline. Our food is full of pesticides. So a lot of people are now seeking medical help for family planning, which used to come naturally before. And Ernst & Young report estimates that about 27.5 million couples in India are affected by infertility. How do you think this affects specifically a woman mentally? Do you think it affects her marriage? Do you think it affects her mentally, socially? If she's working, can you give us an example and tell our listeners how to go about it?
This base 360 degree, it's if a woman is affected, there's a lot of pressure from the family for sure. Her comparison with same age women who is conceiving, and she's feeling, oh, I'm not able to. Secondly, the lifestyle if you see today is very different. What we eat, what we think, what we read, बहुत अलग है. So one of the common factor which is affecting, and उसके लिए they have to take a treatment कि if I'm not able to conceive, वो एक patience level नहीं है. Secondly, मुझे क्यों नहीं हो रहा है बच्चा, and many times when they are thinking it is affecting their mental health, obviously it is going to affect the sperm and obviously the eggs growth
Quality.
also. तो उसके वजह से भी infertility आ जाती है करके. So,
yeah, I think the today's society is so anxiety driven. We have so much anxiety, we have so much pressure. हर चीज़ में perform करने का pressure, to be the perfect wife, be the perfect professional, to be the perfect daughter-in-law or daughter, or whichever role you're doing. You know, there's so much pressure to perform in a certain way. Obviously, brings a lot of anxiety, which affects our hormones, which in other terms affects our mental health. So I think what you're saying very rightly, that it has made it so hard for women mentally to just get pregnant, how they used to before.
and there only the self blame comes up कि I'm not capable enough, मैं नहीं कर पा रही हूँ. Personal life is going good, ना professional life is going, or if that is a housewife also, or constantly that nagging, that blame is coming on her. So that stress level is increasing, which is indirectly affecting the egg or the quality of the egg. Or if she's conceiving also, because of the stress, the stressful environment, she's not able to bear it for the long period, and there are high chances of having a miscarriage.
So, you know, most doctors or most professionals would say that pregnancy is all medical. Would you say a lot of it is psychological?
So basically, if you look into 50-60% is psychological. If you are in a happy state of mind, the pregnancy journey is much better. The smooth journey, you are able to deal with it in a better way. But
So the chances of getting pregnant increase?
yeah, the chances of getting pregnant increases because there are a lot of oxytocin which is released in your body, which is a happy hormone, so which have a positive impact in your pregnancy. But if you're constantly overthinking negative, it may affect and which increase your stress level, and due to which your uterus become weak, you are not releasing happy hormones, so your pregnancy chances decreases basically, and it impact in a negative way.
So, since we have spoken at length about pregnancy, hormones, psychological effects of pregnancy, let's move on to the next phase, motherhood. I think, according to me, motherhood is one of the most beautiful experiences in the world. And any woman who has to suffer mentally in this journey is, I would say, one of the worst things that can happen. Because it is new. It is something we all wait for since we are kids. We wait that we're going to become a mother one day. I'll have children of my own. I'll have a family of my own. So when you finally start your motherhood journey and you get a condition called postpartum, can you explain this phenomena?
Postpartum, first of all, people are not aware कि होता क्या है. Initially, they feel okay, it's a pregnancy, baby आया है, there are changes in the body, the sleep pattern, the appetite. So mothers are not able to deal with the circumstances or situation. But later on, when it increases, you see that the time frame is increasing. Okay, it's more than 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks. But still, that same thing is happening with you. Your body is undergoing the changes. Your body, you're not able to sleep well, constantly overthinking, that anxiety to be how to feed a child, or how I will be managing my personal life, my professional life, or there is an identity crisis also because there's a new identity in your life. So there's a mixture of lot of things, and which leads into emotional roller coaster. And if it is more than 2 to 3 weeks, it's lead into postpartum. Many times people get confused with baby blues also, कि एक बेबी ब्लू करके कंडीशन होती है जहाँ पे अच्छा बच्चा आया है तो ठीक है नया है, एज टाइम विल गो वी विल सेटल इन करके. बट इफ यू सी इट इज मोर देन अ मंथ, it may lead into postpartum depression or postpartum anxiety.
But how will somebody know that they have switched from baby blues to postpartum?
पोस्टपार्टम डिप्रेशन और एनजाइटी की हम बात करेंगे तो कॉन्स्टेंटली यू विल मॉनिटर एक चीज़, आपकी एपेटाइट इधर बहुत बढ़ गई है या कम हो गई है, योर स्लीप साइकिल हैज़ चेंज, यू आर नॉट एबल टू गेट स्लीप और यू आर स्लीपिंग मोर देन रिक्वायर्ड, यू आर ओवर थिंकिंग कॉन्स्टेंटली एंड दैट टू नेगेटिव थाट, अच्छी बातें नहीं सोच रहे हो, नेगेटिव समथिंग बैड विल happen, constant emotional and roller coaster ride where there is a mood swing, switch of emotions. Suddenly you're feeling very happy, loving, caring, and suddenly you don't feel like doing anything. You're not able to bond with your child, lot of irritation, frustration, burnouts. So these are the clear sign, like a red flag कि okay, this mother is undergoing something which may lead into postpartum depression or anxiety if it is not taken care at the right time.
Can you give us an example of how closely you have experienced somebody going through postpartum depression but they weren't aware of it?
Yeah, in my family only, my cousin sister, she recently conceived and we were not able to figure it out what is happening to her. She was thinking it's a baby blue, मुझे ठीक है बच्चा 1-2 महीने का होगा, सेटल इन हो जाऊंगी करके, इट्स अ न्यू फेज, न्यू जर्नी, तो ऑब्वियसली एवरीथिंग चेंज, योर बॉडी इज अंडरगोइंग थ्रू लॉट ऑफ चेंजेस, प्लस the sleep cycle and appetite also differ. But later on we saw it is prolonged, like it's more than 3 months where she's not able to settle in, where she's not able to connect with the child only. उसे बच्चे के साथ टाइम स्पेंड ही नहीं करना है, like she is with herself, the child is taken care by the husband. So we thought okay, no, it is I think affecting her mental health. There are a lot of assessments which help us to understand if it is clinically mother is undergoing postpartum depression or anxiety. So we took her to the psychologist and we did some psychometric assessment to understand, and yes, it came out that she has postpartum depression. So we immediately started with therapy and medication, but in medication also we have to be very vigilant because she was on a breastfeeding, the child was on breastfeeding, so many medicines are not good during the breastfeeding. So initially we started with therapy where she was able to understand, she was able to bond with the child, connect with the child, regulating her emotion in a right way, and best thing, she was not expressive by nature because her personality was introvert. So we make her start writing journal to express how is her journey, and then gradually she was able to do it pretty well after 5-6 months. So it helped her better when she started proper therapy plan.
That's amazing. So can you tell us the risks and consequences of untreated postpartum depression and how long can it last?
If it is not treated at the right time, तो हमने देखा है कि it leads from postpartum depression to clinical depression, या maybe postpartum anxiety से proper GAD, that is called generalized anxiety disorder.
No, so what is the time frame that you feel one should be able to gather that they are going through postpartum? ऐसा कौन सा time period है, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years कि you should know this is I am going through postpartum, इसके बाद it turns into clinical?
If you talk about the time frame, तो after 6 months of the baby, if you're not still able to settle in, yeah, still you feel you're getting emotionally overwhelmed, then it is important to rule out, okay, are you slipping into postpartum depression? And after the journey of 1 year, once the child complete 1 year and still that mood swing is there, it may lead into okay, there are some other mental health condition or comorbidity which is existing, and we have to rule out what can be the root cause of it.
So that can lead into clinical depression.
Yes, that can lead into clinical depression or generalized anxiety, or maybe a lot of psychotic features also come up because you're not able to have a good sleep, and maybe there are two phases, either neurotic or psychotic. So if it is prolonged more than a year, then high chances you slip into some other mental health condition.
So I think it is something that definitely one has to look into at the right time.
Correct.
It is so important, otherwise you'll end up in different mental health conditions without realizing.
Correct.
Let's talk about another aspect of pregnancy, when women lose their baby very close to delivery. I have heard of many women, I've read many cases where women lose their baby in the 7th month, 8th month, stillbirth. How does that affect a woman mentally?
It is one of the saddest thing what happened. First, it's like a grief period. If someone who is very close to you in your family or your friend, if there is a death of that person, it takes time for you to accept that, and it's a grief period. Similarly, this is the journey where in like at the 8th month or a 9th month, mother loses the child. It's a grieving stage.
Also, she'll have to mostly deliver it.
Yeah, maybe she has to undergo this whole process of surgery. It can be C-section. So when you are holding a child which is like a stillbirth, or maybe there is no heartbeat, it takes a lot of courage to hold a baby. And secondly, it impacts the mental health, where you doubt your potential, ki where I went wrong, how this happened, why I am suffering, why. And many times, if they have conceived after a long journey and this something happened, misfortune with them, तो उन्हें लगता है यार I don't deserve a child. And
Yeah.
again,
I think also women blame themselves. मैंने कुछ pregnancy में गलत किया
गलत
होगा. I must have done something wrong. I didn't take care properly.
women, or maybe many times a society also, a family, कि तूने ध्यान नहीं रखा होगा, तूने बराबर खाया नहीं होगा, और तुझे समझा नहीं करके, तो it's most of the time either you blame yourself, yeah, society. And that blame affects your mental health, where you either doubt your own self, which make you again think कि what I have done, I have killed, or I have done something wrong, or it's a crime. Then this leads into anxiety or depression, and she faces withdrawal. सारे एरिया से she feel not to talk, to connect with anyone, because she's grieving. She wants to come out of that journey, but she's always blamed. She's blamed herself. So that journey takes long period.
And this leads to loneliness.
And she feels isolated, and she feels there is no support. If she doesn't have that right support, it is better to take a professional help, go to the therapist, understand how to cope up with the situation.
Because end of the day, people take therapy and counseling after they lose a very close family member.
Yes.
So this is the closest one can feel, right?
Right. And you are carrying that 9 months in your womb. So जब एक मदर ये लॉस थ्रू जाती है, तो obviously she has to go to the doctor to undergo the surgery. Similarly, if आपको लग रहा है कि यू आर नॉट एबल टू कम आउट फ्रॉम दिस लॉस, यू नीड टू गो टू द प्रोफेशनल. जैसे एक मैं सिंपल एग्जांपल बोलूँगी कि आपके हाथ में फ्रैक्चर है, वो हमें दिख रहा है, तो ऑब्वियसली हम एक फिजियोथेरेपिस्ट के पास जाएंगे ट्रीटमेंट लेने के लिए, एक डॉक्टर के पास जाएंगे मेडिकेशन के लिए. बट जो फ्रैक्चर यहाँ पे है, जो दिखता नहीं है, बट हमें समझता है कि ओके दिस इज़ समथिंग इज़ रॉन्ग विथ मी, मैं नहीं राइट स्टेट ऑफ माइंड में सोच पा रही हूँ, तो उस टाइम पे आपको लग रहा है कि हाँ मुझे यहाँ पे फ्रैक्चर है, तो आई नीड टू टेक अ प्रोफेशनल हेल्प. गो टेक द प्रोफेशनल हेल्प, अंडरस्टैंड हाउ टू कोप दिस सिचुएशन इन अ बेटर वे.
Yeah, I think loss of baby, loss of a family member is very similar. And I think, like you said very clearly and very, beautifully, it's so important to have somebody guide you. Just like we have doctors to fix our physical health, we must seek help mentally as well in such a tough journey. Can you explain the concept of matrescence and its psychological implications?
This term is not commonly used. Mostly it is a transformative phase from woman to motherhood, like how there is a transition from childhood to an adulthood. So जैसे गर्ल की जर्नी होती है कि इनिशियली पहले वो खुद इंडिविजुअल होती है, फिर शादी करके घर में आती है, घर की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी लेती है, और उसके बाद जब वो प्रेग्नेंट होती है तो देयर इज़ अ बेबी इन द लाइफ. सो दैट ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन इज कॉल्ड मैट्रेसिस. एंड उसका साइकोलॉजिकल इम्पैक्ट भी होता है, क्योंकि इनिशियली जब आप प्रेग्नेंट रहते हो, एक तो एक्साइटमेंट होता है, एंटिसिपेशन होता है, कभी कभी शॉक भी लगता है, अच्छा मैं प्रेग्नेंट हूँ करके, तो वो एक चीज़ है. वंस यू डिलीवर द बेबी, आपकी बॉडी एक तो सर्जरी अंडरगो की होती है, whether it is a normal or C-section. Your body take little time to recover. Second, your sleep cycle get disturbed, your appetite get disturbed. Gradually, this thing affects your mental health or psychological well-being.
So this term is basically that whole journey.
Yes. So it's journey from your pregnancy to your post-pregnancy. जो वो पूरा फेज होता है, आप कैसे कोप अप करते हो, पॉजिटिवली या नेगेटिवली, उसका इम्पैक्ट आपके मेंटल हेल्थ पे होता है. अगेन पॉजिटिवली भी हो सकता है और negatively भी हो सकता है.
Yeah, I think some people also blossom in their pregnancy.
Yes.
I mean, they don't have a lot going for them. उससे पहले किसी का career take off नहीं किया. Let's say somebody took very long to get married, but then they have a really beautiful pregnancy. I think can change in positive and negative.
Negative, yes. So again, it vary from one person to other. How was the journey? How was the support system? How was overall pregnancy? Complicated थी, risk taking pregnancy थी या smooth journey थी? तो कहीं ना कहीं पे what you think consciously and what you think subconsciously also affect your mental health. And most important is your subconscious mind, which play a very important role how you deal with the situation. And if you're not understanding this in a right way, तो sure and short वो postpartum depression या postpartum anxiety लाता ही है.
Can you tell us, as a psychologist, the three most important things to do when you're pregnant?
ओके सबसे पहले तो टेक प्रॉपर हेल्थ केयर, लाइक ईट राइट, स्लीप राइट, अंडरस्टैंड राइट. डोंट बिलीव what others are telling. Your gut instincts should be strong to understand what is right and wrong for you, because as I mentioned, motherhood is just
Different for each person.
Motherhood is not a destination. आपको वहाँ पहुँचना नहीं है. ग्रेजुअली आप वहाँ पे जाओगे, अंडरस्टैंड करोगे वो फेस को. सो एक चीज़ वो है. सेकेंडली, प्री नेटल क्लासेस आपको इफ मिल रहे हैं तो स्टार्ट जॉइन दैट टू गेट रियलिटी चेक what is right and wrong throughout the pregnancy. Thirdly, mindfulness activity, जैसे you are doing some, if you are passionate about art, something, engage yourself into some art therapy or
Any
something,
hobby.
any hobbies, yes. Start expressing yourself through journal. Talk to your husband or your friends how you feel about it, and build up your strong support system. And the most important, psychological professional or psychological help you want to take from an expert to understand how to go ahead in your journey without getting biased through social media or comparing yourself with other mothers. आजकल आप देखते भी होंगे कि बड़ी बड़ी हॉस्पिटल में they have a psychologist on panel where pre-pregnancy counseling and post-pregnancy counseling is the must. They have put that as a package in their hospitals to make journey more smooth. There is no challenges, and mother is or a couple is not suffering to understand their journey ki why there is change or transition, and it should not impact their relationship also.
So I want to end the conversation for our listeners on a very important note. Pregnancy is mostly women related. A woman is going through these changes, a woman is carrying the baby, a woman is delivering the baby. But people forget a very crucial part is the father. Can you explain how fathers go through this emotional journey and what they should do to make it better?
Men journey is very different than a women. The transition from a woman to be a mother is different than a man to be a father. Men body has same hormones. There is no chemical imbalance or changes. Work is not affected. Even their appearance, their physique is not getting affected. Their sleep, their appetite, everything is same. So they are not able to understand what women go through. But suddenly, from being a husband, there is a transition to be a father. Overnight. They're shocked. They're not able to take that because there's some third person in their life. They're not understanding their bond and connection, because most of the time a mother or a woman is with the child. They spend a little less time with the child. The bonding is getting affected, and they're not able to empathize the situation what women go through. So it becomes very challenging for them to support also, because they don't know how to. That awareness is also not there. I can just relate with myself, like when I got pregnant and when I delivered, my husband was not able to understand what I'm going through. The first 3 months was really difficult and challenging for me, because I was not able to get a good sleep at night. But
and I think couples also disconnect in this period, because physically and emotionally we are in a different place. We have transitioned, but I think fathers take time to transition.
they are not able to understand our journey. So I asked him to take a professional help to understand how he can support me.
So you sent him to therapy?
So I asked him to seek a professional help to make him aware how he can support me emotionally and psychologically, and most important, how he can help himself to understand the journey, and
From manhood to just
like from being husband to a father, and what is his roles and responsibility, so the transition become very smooth for us
as a couple. That's amazing. I think if a professional like you can definitely send your husband to therapy, I think everybody should consider it. And everybody should consider couples counseling. I think during pregnancy, post-pregnancy, and early motherhood, I think it's need of the hour. And I would say that it is absolutely essential to have a professional view, then seek help from your friends or relatives who may not know what your situation, what your marriage is like. Thank you so much, Ekta, for this invaluable insight into motherhood, pregnancy, postpartum, this very important journey of a woman's life. And you've guided us very, very accurately. Thank you so much. It has been an absolute pleasure having you with us.
It was my pleasure to be part of it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. This was Therapy Diaries. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other.